Welcome to this video on environmental ethics and behavior. We'll embark on a journey to explore the concept, characteristics, and foci of the moral relationship between humans and nature.
Environmental ethics is a critical branch of applied philosophy, examining the moral relationship between humans and their natural environment. It challenged traditional human-centered views by proposing that the natural world has moral standing as a community to which we belong. The core concept centers on fundamental moral questions. Does nature have intrinsic value, or is its worth tied only to human utility? What are our obligations to future generations and ecosystems? Environmental ethics emerged in the 1970s, asserting that nature itself holds moral standing. Historically, the dominant Western paradigm viewed nature merely as a resource for exploitation. The 1970s marked a shift with the emergence of environmental ethics, challenging this anthropocentrism. Today, the discipline has gained global recognition, integrating with traditions like the Indian knowledge system. Environmental ethics has 5 key characteristics. These include its interdisciplinary nature, expansion of the moral community, focus on intrinsic value, a future-oriented perspective, and an action-oriented approach. Its interdisciplinary nature bridges empirical sciences with normative disciplines to inform moral reasoning. It also expands our moral community, extending ethical consideration beyond human society to include all living things and entire ecosystems. The third characteristic focuses on intrinsic value, or worth in its own right, distinct from instrumental value, which is value as a means to human ends. Environmental ethics champions the idea that nature deserves moral consideration for its own sake. Environmental ethics is both future and action-oriented. It emphasizes intergenerational equity by considering the rights of unborn generations to a rich planet. It is also action-oriented, guiding policy-making and influencing individual behaviors to effect change. The field has 3 major philosophical perspectives, or foci. Anthropocentrism is human-centered, biocentrism is life-centered, and ecocentrism is ecosystem-centered. These represent expanding circles of moral concern. Anthropocentrism is a human-centered focus, where only humans have intrinsic moral worth. Protection of the environment is justified primarily because its degradation harms humanity. A major limitation is that it can justify ecological exploitation if it benefits human society. Biocentrism is a life-centered focus, extending moral standing to all living things. The key idea is that every living entity has a, quote, teleological center of life, with an inherent drive to survive and flourish, commanding moral respect. Ecocentrism is a holistic approach, placing intrinsic value on entire ecosystems, including non-living elements like mountains and soil. This perspective, exemplified by Aldo Leopold's land ethic, focuses on preserving ecological integrity, stability, and beauty. Other contemporary foci include deep ecology, advocating a radical shift toward living in harmony with nature. Ecofeminism examines connections between nature's exploitation and the oppression of women. Environmental justice focuses on the equitable distribution of environmental burdens and benefits. This comparative overview highlights the differences between the frameworks. The moral circle expands progressively, from humans only in anthropocentrism to entire ecosystems in ecocentrism, and finally addressing social equity in environmental justice. In summary, environmental ethics challenges anthropocentrism by expanding the moral community to include all life. The 3 main foci are anthropocentrism, biocentrism, and ecocentrism. As an ancient wisdom reminds us, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth.